Cash Flow Diary Podcast, episode 500.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cash Flow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leveraged streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cash Flow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Cash Flow Diary Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Massey, and I'm glad that you are here today because you guys know that oftentimes it's very, very rare. It's a unique thing when you get to hear from a person who's been here before, and that must mean they have something special or mean something special, and I believe they're going to deliver something special to you, and that's exactly what we have today. So for those of you who are original and been around for a while, if you remember episode 131, we interviewed a gentleman by the name of Aaron Walker. You may be familiar with him from his book, View from the Top, or his website, View from the Top, or the fact that he is one of America's best mentors on the planet. Now, what's interesting to me about him is that he continues to pour himself out into other men because he knows the value of trusted advisors, mentors, the difference that we can make, because alone, well, sometimes we don't always make the best or right decisions. And most importantly, we can get there better, bigger, faster together. One of the things that you may have a question about is there a difference between being successful and significant? And I think today's guest will be able to underscore that because he has more than 40 years of experience with more than a dozen startups, and he has been able to do this for a lot of people. And today, we get to hear from him again. I'm excited to get caught up with him. I'm hoping that you are excited to love, to listen, and to learn from Aaron Walker. Aaron, how you doing?
Jay, man, can I hire you to travel with me and introduce me? It's like, I want to meet this guy. Hey, man, thank you. What a blessing it is to be a repeat guest on your show. How you been?
Yeah, there's very few. I think I don't even think you need two hands to count them all. But we've been good. Business has changed. It has grown, as many of the audience knows. While we're still in the real estate world, still doing the cash flow thing, we've just pivoted mostly into short-term rentals because that opportunity has presented itself, and for the last literally 2 years now, it's been able to produce some very healthy returns. But what's going on with you? I mean, this is hundreds of episodes ago, so there's got to be a lot that we've been missing out on over there.
Yeah, it's been crazy busy. I know you and I have mastermind together and got to share some great experiences early on, years ago, and things have absolutely blown up for us. We own a mastermind group called Iron Sharpens Iron, and we're about to launch our 14th group. Man, I look around, I think, good night, where did time go? I retired, 8 years ago to kind of take it easy. My wife reminded me at dinner the other day, Jay, she said, do you realize you're working more now than you did the previous 35 years of our marriage? And I'm like, I don't know if this is a compliment or we're going to get in a fight. But the truth is I love what I do. And I love to help ordinary men become extraordinary in all they do. And now we've got 8 different countries represented. And we just keep getting blessed, man, with amazing guys that are coming our way. But, yeah, I wrote a couple of books, wrote View from the Top. And that's been a really fun thing to do, helping people to achieve their goals and dreams and how they can live a successful and significant life. And then I wrote the Mastermind Blueprint. I teach people how to build masterminds, and that's been a fun thing. And co-authoring a third book right now with my friend Seth Bueckley. It's Where's My Mentor? And mentoring is so important. And man, you're the champion of mentors in this real estate space. So you know exactly what I mean. We need mentors in our life. But that's just a real brief overview of what's been going on here at View from the Top.
absolutely awesome, and I love it. But I think, and we're going to definitely talk more about that, because there's a lot of people who I know would be looking for the mentors, and I definitely want to dig into that. But what I'm excited to hear about are the mastermind groups. And truth be told, I will tell you and everyone right now, it's been actually on my mind. I was like, I wonder what if I should go back into another one of Aaron's groups. I was actually thinking that long before you reached out and said, hey, let's get back together and catch up. And because it made an impact, and things that make an impact, well, they stick. And that's definitely true for any mentorship group, or being around individuals who can make you better. But I have a question.
Sure.
Because you mentioned something that almost gets you in the fight, possibly with your wife. You're like, you're working so much. One of the things that I remember the most from the time that we've spent together is this concept of margin, or lack of it in some cases. For those that possibly miss that or don't understand what that is, I really think it would help today's entrepreneur to hear why that's important. And now my question to you is, how are you practicing that? Because you're struggling against something that, in the sense of, I love doing this all the time, and now it becomes a thing. And that's true for a lot of us.
Well, here's the thing. We all need a lot of margin in our lives, and I have to really keep guys around me. I have to be in an accountability group and a mastermind group, and I have to have trusted advisors around me to keep me in check. And a lot of people hear, I need to, balance work and life. Well, you can't really do that. That's a myth. The thing you need to do is prioritize your priorities. Like, things need to be lopsided. You need to decide what's important in your life, and you need to focus on that. In his book.
Whoa. Hold on. You said something, and you said it really quick, and I think some people probably missed that.
Okay.
Because typically when you mention the concept of balance, we think equal
on both sides. Yeah. It doesn't need to be equal. Things don't need to be equal.
Okay.
Right.
I just know somebody heard that and was like, whoa,
good.
Wait, what?
I'm glad you brought my attention back to it, because it's become such a way of life to me. I get so many opportunities to do certain things, right? Whether it be speak or travel or start new groups or start new businesses, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to narrow your focus. You have to be an inch wide and a mile deep. And most people are an inch deep and a mile wide. They think they got to do 15 things really, really well in order to make a lot of money or be successful. But the truth of the matter is my friend Rory Vaden says, we need to procrastinate on purpose. There's some things that we need to put off. And that's what I'm speaking about here. You need to prioritize what's important to you. So I had to sit down and go, hey, what are the 3 or 4 things that are most important to me in my life? Well, from past experiences dealing with me, Jay, I'm a Christ follower, so my faith is really important. And then my wife, and then my children, then my grandchildren, and then my business. And I've got it in the right perspective because I have accountability partners around me and mastermind people around me that help keep me in check, because it's so easy to spend so much time doing this thing that we love, and that's getting the gratification out of the businesses that we're involved in. And if you're not careful, you'll come home one day with a pocket full of money to a house full of strangers. And when that happens, you still end up a loser. Right? And I teach people how to be very successful, simultaneously being significant. And if all your effort and energy is spent at the day job, making the money, getting bigger, better, faster, shinier things, and you do it at the expense of your family, quite honestly, we still end up a loser, right? Because nobody cares. You go home and you're a rich old guy, and nobody loves you or knows you or has a relationship with you. And then how have you won? Listen, don't hear me wrong. I love to make money. I want to make more of it, but I don't want it to own me. I don't want it to be my God, my central focus. And that's why I say that we have to prioritize our priorities and spend an inordinate amount of time on the things that are important to you.
And, it's being able to make that distinction, which I think is really, really key. But oftentimes how on earth do we ever maintain an objective view of if we're even getting close to doing it right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the reason you need to have people around you. Like, I've been in a mastermind group, for a dozen years called the Eagles, and very, very successful guys in that group. And it keeps you grounded. You go in each and every week and you talk through objectives and things that you're trying to accomplish. And they go, well, hey, I know your history. Like, I've been around you a long time, and I know you're a creator developer. And I know every 3 or 4 years you get bored with maintaining and managing. You want to create something new. And it's like, you need to take another look at that. You need to think through this. So, see, we only have one filter. We only have one vantage point. No matter how much you try to see things a separate way or a different way, you can't. Because the way we were raised, the filters that we have, the perspectives that we have, it's just the way God created us. But when you have somebody else that's not involved in the situation, they can be non-biased. They have a different life experience, a different filter, a different objective. They can look at it critically. I'll give you an example, and this is a very simple example. We did a remodel project at my house, and we looked at it from the front yard, and there was a structural problems they couldn't solve. And the engineers came out there, the general contractors, the subcontractors. I looked at it. We couldn't solve this problem. 2 weeks later, I'm sitting on the patio behind the house, and I'm on a coaching call, and I look at it from a different perspective, and I solve the problem immediately. You see, that's what advisors do for us. That's what mentors do for us, right? They look at you and they go, hey, man, here's your superpowers. Here's where you're strong. But here's your kryptonite. Here's your Achilles heel, these things. But here are your blind spots. And if you don't pay attention to that, it's going to knock you off into a ditch. And you need to be careful with that, right? And that's the reason I like to surround myself with people with an objective view.
Now, you said something, and truth be told, if it took me as long as 3 to 4 years to get to board before I wanted to create something new, that would actually be a success.
I know. It'd be a long time. I know. That's because you're a creator developer. You can, look at your life and all the things that you've accomplished, and you go, my gosh, this makes me tired reading it, much less doing it. There's so many accomplishments that you've had, and I get it, man.
So when it comes down to it, let's talk for a second to the entrepreneurs that are just now trying to figure it out and make it happen. When you have worked with entrepreneurs in the past, in that state or stage, and maybe they're still dividing their time between what they are doing full time in terms of income, how on earth do they achieve this balance so that they don't end up coming to an empty home and being still giving significant amounts of effort and energy, because that new baby business requires a lot to get off the ground? What are they to do?
There's seasons in our life, right? Nothing. And people say, yeah, Big A, I hear you talking now, and I understand it's easy for you, but you've not been there. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I know exactly. And I almost lost my family as a result of focusing on my business too much. And when you start missing ball games and having to apologize to your little girl for missing the dancing recital, and you forget your wife's birthday, those things are not going to end well for you. And you need to be careful all the while. Some of you need to get your butt off the couch and get to work, and you need to grind it out with that grit and determination and perseverance. There's seasons that we have to do that. What you don't want to make it is the priority of your life. You don't want to make it the way you do business every time. Like, there's times, Jay, that my wife knows that he's going to be busy for this quarter. Like, it's called for it, right? Some things are seasonal. Right. And she gets it. But if I come along, 2 weeks after that and I go, hey, Robin, listen, she goes, no, you told me this was for a season and we need to do it. I'm with you. I'm for you. And I'm behind you. But we cannot have this the pattern of our life. And so, listen, I got a strong woman, 39 years. She's kept me in check. And you need people around you that will do that, because she knows I love working. I love what I'm doing, but I don't love it more than my family. And that's where you got to be careful. You just got to be really careful. See, a lot of people live to work. See, I don't do that anymore. I work so I can live, right? It's not the reason I get up every day. I have other reasons that I get up every day. Money's a tool, and we need to treat it like a tool, right? And we need to place the value on it that it is so deserving, but we don't need to make it ruler of our life. And that's what I did, Jay, when I was a young guy. I'm like, hey, I'm going to crush it. And I did, almost to the detriment of my own health and my own family. And that's why I'm firing this warning shot now to people saying, hey, listen, just slow down for a minute. The bigger thing that I see people doing now is they don't have clarity. And the reason is the internet so affords us so many opportunities now that we don't know which one to pick. And so we're stuck in indecision, and I help people work through getting out of their indecision.
Well, one of the other things that at least I've been noticing, it seems to be that, again, maybe because of the internet, because, as you were mentioning, opportunity is so readily available, it seems to be there's this wave of more people who are trying something extra in some way, shape, or form. And they don't even know that clarity is their issue. So how on earth are they even able to figure out what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, well, I tell people to start with, first and foremost, what are you passionate about? And I want to talk about that. I want to unpack passion just for a second. Passion is an exhaustible resource, right? It eventually wears out. So you can't keep going just on passion because you'll tire out. What you've got to have is purpose. And if you don't have purpose, you're not going to do anything long term. And I use this small example. If there were two buildings 100 feet tall, side by side, and I said, Jay, I'm going to put this 2x12 board between these two buildings 100 feet off the ground, and I want you to walk between them, and I'm going to give you $10. And you're like, Big A, you've lost your mind. There's no way I would do that. But Jay, if I took your little girl and I put her on top of one of those buildings and I lit that building on fire,
right,
there's no amount of money that's going to keep you from going across that board to rescue your little girl.
Right.
Well, it's the same way in everything in our life. See, I go to bed at night thinking, man, I can't wait to get up tomorrow because I'm helping ordinary men become extraordinary. Their lives are changing. There's many things that they're addicted to that they're getting off, and they're doubling their business, or they're a better husband, or they're a better dad, or they're just better in their communities. They're better people. They've prioritized their priorities. They know exactly now how to live their life. That's purpose.
Yeah.
If I was just doing it for the money, right? You know, I ain't got tons of money, but I got enough money. But if I was doing it just for the money, I wouldn't be excited every day to get up. But because there's a purpose, I'm excited.
And people have asked me time and again, like, why do you still keep teaching us? And I'm like, yeah, I know I could earn significantly more, create way more value just focusing on our own little business. But I tell our students all the time that you guys complete me. To be lacking, you don't understand. I don't feel like me unless I have passed on or helped someone else do it. I get way more enjoyment from hearing that happen for you guys than I do doing it for myself. I mean, don't get me wrong, we intend to continue, but sure, at the same time, this is what's exciting to me, is knowing that I get to meet and talk to and introduce them to individuals like yourself and see that transformation happen. So I guess what
the other part is, you have an abundance mindset. You don't have a scarcity mindset. You know there's deals out there to be made in the real estate
everywhere
for days. You know what I'm saying? So you want to teach people because you have an abundance mindset. And the more you teach, the more you give away, the more that natural reciprocity comes back and opens up other opportunities for you.
So how do you think that the word passion supplanted purpose, which clearly is what is more important? How did that ever happen?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You are passionate about something, and you try it, and you do it for a little while. And here's the way I know whether you're on the right track. When you continue to do it, and if it gives you energy, there's a purpose at the end. If it drains you, it's not your passion. And so a lot of the things people say, well, Big A, would you do it for free? No, because I love to make money, and I love to go on trips. I love to eat. I love to give my wife presents. There's nothing wrong with making money. I love to make money. But the thing is, I'm energized. I'm like excited. When I retired 8 years ago, Jay, Dan Miller looked at me across the table from our mastermind group, and he said, what are you going to do now? I said, nothing. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to go down to the Caribbean. I'm going to sit on the front porch of one of those little tiki huts, and I'm going to rock myself into an oblivion. And he looked at me, and he never smiled. And he said, that's the most selfish thing I've ever heard you say. And I wanted to poke him in the eye. I wanted to be, well, what? I've been working since I'm 13, man. I'm 50. I'm tired. And he said, no, man, you need to teach. You need to coach. You need to train other people to do the same. And Jay, I never gave it a second's thought. I thought, man, what are you talking about? He said, Big A, come on. You need to teach other people how to do this. Help them create their goals and their dreams and help them accomplish it. And I'm going to tell you, man, today I can hug his neck because it's changed my life, breathing into other people and helping them accomplish what they want. It's just so rewarding to be able to do that. And I want to encourage your listeners today, if you don't have that passion and desire, don't go today and quit your job, but be praying about it, be thinking about it, be thinking about Listen, because we don't get a do-over. This is this is not a trial run. I mean, you're living your life and you don't want to be miserable. You don't want to go home every night and take it out on your family. You want to get up and go, man, how can I add value today to other people's lives? There's so many opportunities out there today to be able to have a lifestyle business. And I want to encourage you to really dive into that.
And that's what's so amazing. Again, back to technology, it tends to enable us to be able to work literally from anywhere, depending on the style of business that you do. And what's amazing about that is it suddenly you can build your work. If you're intentional about it, you can build your work around your lifestyle. What would you say has been some of the things that you've watched entrepreneurs do in terms of making those transitions, and what have been some of the benefits of them doing this?
Well, the thing most people try to do is to get great clarity before they launch. And I just think that's a mistake personally. I don't want you to do anything reckless, but it's a lot easier to pivot a ship than it is to get it out of the harbor. And so you can move something relatively easy, but getting the courage up to get it out of the boat slip and get it going is the most difficult part. What I want to do is come up with an idea and think, would this add value, whether it be a product or whether it be a service? And how can I best serve other people, simultaneously make a living for my family? And then I think about the lifestyle businesses that you've mentioned earlier. There are so many ways today to make money online. Yep. And we've got an e-commerce business, and 3 years ago it didn't even exist, and now it does really, really well as a result of selling a product on Amazon. And we import the product, we manufacture it in China, and we do all that from our home, or we can do it from the beach, or we can do it from wherever we want to do it. If we got a laptop and an internet connection, we can make that happen. We don't touch it, we don't manufacture it, we don't ship it, but we make it happen, right? And we do everything. We never even see the product,
right?
And we make. There's so many things like that people can do today. So many services. You can be a virtual assistant. There's so many things that people are wanting done in their businesses today. The list goes on and on. But the point of the matter is just get an idea. Don't have to have total clarity. Just get something that you enjoy. Get coaches around you. Get masterminds around you. Get an accountability group. The bigger thing is the consistency. And that's what I tell people. They say, Big A, what's the best tool? Best tool in your toolbox is relationships, first and foremost. Hands down, nothing even comes close. Building relationships. The next thing is consistency. And they're like, tell me more. What does that mean? I mean, like, do it until you want to throw up. I mean, I do things nonstop. And when I make a commitment, I give it 2 years. I say, I'm going to do this the way I've committed it for 2 years. It takes usually a year and a half in most businesses to get them up and going. We've had 12 now over our past 40 years. We've had 12 businesses. We're on number 13 and 14 right now, but in the past. And the thing is when I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it relentlessly. I don't care what it is, social media platform, everything that we do, I have a plan. We have our day mapped out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I keep my head down. I put blinders on and I say, I'm going to do this thing. Listen, read The One Thing, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. It'll rock your world. So I could give you a list of books to read, but that's how I would get started.
Totally understood. Now, when it comes down to it, today with the wisdom that you have, you're saying so much so quickly. I know people are like, oh my God, I can't even take notes fast enough. What would you say? Like if I pinned you down and said, okay, here are the top 3 things I have seen entrepreneur after entrepreneur who succeeded, this is what they did and what they do on a consistent basis. What would you go to? Hello there, entrepreneur. This is Jay Massey, and what I want to say to you is that the number one mistake that I have ever made in business, number one, has been waiting too long to do the books, waiting too long to get the bookkeepers, the accountants, the CPAs, the CFOs involved, and I don't want you to make that same mistake. That mistake cost me over 6 figures, and now for a significant discount, you have the ability to get your books together using FreshBooks. So what I want you to do is I want you to go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. Again, that's gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. FreshBooks is the easy to use software designed to help you, the small business owner, the freelancer, get organized and save time on invoicing, getting paid faster, keeping those books in order so that it becomes a bonus for you to do your taxes as opposed to a burden. Go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary and get started today. And now let's get back to the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a specific profession. There are so many. There's millions.
That's fine.
Yeah, there's millions of professions, but it's the process. The process is what's important. And the businesses that succeed, let me say this, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You don't rise to the level of your goals. What you do is you fail to the level of your processes. And the problem is people don't have systems and processes in place to automate things. You got to do a couple of things. First of all, you need to do an assessment of yourself. You need to look at yourself and say, what is it that only I can do? And that was the part that was the hardest for me originally. I wanted to do everything because I'm a control freak. Like, I want to carry out the trash because I know it's going to be carried out properly, and I want to vacuum because somebody else is going to leave something, and I'm going to coach, and I'm going to do the social media, and I'm like, you can't do that. You cannot do everything, right? So you either have to automate it, eliminate it, or delegate it. Those are your three options. And so for me, I went through and I said, what is it that only Big A can do? And then I looked through. There were so many things, Jay, that I've done in the past that I had no business doing, right? There were some $10 an hour tasks that I was doing. And I know what I charge to coach and to do things. And I'm like, this is insane. Why would I do that? The other thing is you need to decide, and here's where people really drop the ball. And there's not 1 out of 100 people going to do what I'm about to tell you. But if you do, if I were to tell you today, Jay, and you're a big real estate guy, I could guarantee you a 750% return on investment. You'd be like, dude, show me. Like, I got money. You tell
I'm
me.
listening.
Right?
You got my attention.
Time is the same way.
Right.
And I call it the 30 times rule. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about. If something takes you an hour to do every day, and you have to do it every day regardless, you have to do this thing for an hour every day, be willing to invest 30 hours to teach somebody else to do that 1 hour task. If you do the math, it's a 750% return on your time, because that now is an hour you get back and you don't ever have to do it again.
Okay, I'm gonna confess something right now. I just about 2 weeks ago, there's been a couple of processes that I have been holding on to for the business, and it's simple stuff, you know, just simply resetting some keys and whatnot, granting access to the users, and just very, very simple customer service stuff. And I'm just like, whatever, I can do it. It's no big deal. And again, making this exact same thing. And 2 weeks ago, I just decided that, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this. And even though I don't feel like I should, I just know it's not like I couldn't do it. It's just, I just need to get rid of it. And I'm going to finally do it, because I was holding on to it, because like you said, I wanted to do it myself. And it hasn't quite been 30 hours of training yet, but I've already begun to see the benefits, at least mentally, to where I don't have to do that thing. And oftentimes it only took 30 to 90 minutes a day, if that. But now I don't have to do it, and I feel so much freer, and I'm on to other things, and I'm like kicking myself going, why did I hold on to this for over a year?
Right.
I should have got rid of that.
You think about this for a second. So you build a process and a system to do that.
Yep.
And it's gone. Now you got that hour back. What if you took that hour and all you did was reached out to your clients? Right. You think about how much more your business will grow just with that 1 hour, right? Here's the other thing that people need to hear. There's a platform called Zoom, and there's other platforms, you can do this. Here's what we do. We do training with video, and you can share your own screen with yourself, sit behind your microphone. You train one time. You go through the process. You save it as an MP4 file or an MP3 file, and then you send it to that person. You say, watch this thing until Jesus comes back if you need to. But here's your training. They can get it, watch it. You've trained one time. See, most people will sit down beside of somebody and they'll train, for hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm like, man, dude, you only got to train one time. Just sit down and do a video, share your screen, do the video there, and train somebody how to do this. And see, time, we can't get back time. We can get back money, although we can't get back time. When it's gone, it's gone. And so people hear it, but until they realize it, that time is something that is absolutely paramount for us to be successful. Because when we can invest that 1 hour now with customer service or reaching out, getting new clients, affirming people, edifying them, encouraging them, can you only imagine how much faster your business would grow?
Well, and that's what's funny is that what I didn't realize was how it was crowding. Having to do that task was actually crowding out the mental or emotional space to actually go and develop either more corporate accounts or just develop better processes and hire someone to develop the corporate accounts. And I'm just realizing today going, man, I should have done this a long, long time ago, because now we're bringing on another instructor. We're able to, like I said, build the customer service department faster. Everything is suddenly like moving. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I totally should have done that a long time ago. And it's that time, that year that I spent piddling around in customer service. It's gone. I'm laughing today, but otherwise I would be crying right now based upon what you were saying. So let me ask you this. You love, at least more than me, you love to create content in the form of books. I'm curious as to why that medium, why does that, feel like the place for you? Because for me, I know myself is that it seems a challenge for me to sit down and actually write, let alone read a book.
Boy, I'm fixing to hammer you on both.
This is going to be great.
Okay. Well, first of all, there's so many opportunities out there today without books, right? I get it. So that you can learn, I'm a TED Talk junkie. I love those. I love to listen to podcasts like Cashflow Diary. I love great opportunities to learn. But books have been around absolutely forever. There's two things a book will do for you. First of all, it's mandatory, almost, not completely, almost mandatory if you want to speak, because it gives you a sense of authority, whether you deserve it or not. It's like when you've written a book, it's like, man, you wrote a book? I mean, like, you wrote a book on success and significance. People immediately go, man, you must be an authority on this. So it opens up a lot of opportunities otherwise that you would have never gotten. The other thing is it's a really inexpensive business card, right? There's an objective for the book, right? In my book, I talk about, it's kind of a memoir, but it's also talking about setting boundaries and breaking free and how you can focus and choose wisely and letting go of bitterness. And I'm really vulnerable. I'm raw in the book. I really just kind of let my guard down and say, hey, we've had a little bit of success and here's how we've been able to do it. But the other thing that the book does is that it points people to something else. Like there's a call to action. Like when you get through, you're like, oh man, this is a good book. And I say, hey, if you want this kind of life from now on, get involved in our mastermind group.
Right.
So it's a great lead magnet for people to get into the group. Once they learn who I am and what little bit of success I've had, they go, man, I want to surround myself, because you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And the book brings people to the group that really are givers and they want to learn and they want to excel. And then when you get around that, it's contagious. And you're like, man, now I'm motivated. Now I'm excited and I'm being held accountable. So there's a call to action for the books as well. And plus, it's just pretty cool to succinctly be able to sit down and place all your thoughts. Jay, I'm going to challenge you. You've not written a book. Is that correct?
I have one that and many, and I can see the emails coming. I'm chuckling because somebody's going to write in, yeah, when's that next one coming?
That's why I'm to ask you that. That's the reason I'm asking. I want you to give me a commitment of when you're going to write your next book.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Of course you are. You're Aaron Walker.
I'm dead serious.
What am I doing? Okay, all right.
You're an expert. Why would you not want to share? This has turned into a coaching session instead of a podcast interview. Why would you not want to share everything? You're brilliant, okay? I don't want to puff you up, but the truth of the matter is you're brilliant in this space. Why would you not want to write a book and share? See, because what's ordinary to you is extraordinary to others.
But that's what the videos are for. That's what the podcast is for, right?
Yeah, everybody doesn't watch podcasts and listen to videos or listen to they don't. There's a Hey, Jay, I don't know if anybody's told you there's 7 billion people on the planet. Okay. You do good. You do good with your podcast. You're not doing that good. And your videos are good, right? I've seen they're good, but there's millions of people read books. So my question is when are you going to start on your book? I'm going to hold you accountable, dude. I'm just telling you.
I feel it. And that's why I don't want to answer.
I'm on it recording too.
I know. That's the point.
So I can look back. Okay. It'll change your life and their life.
Okay.
Listen.
Right. Yeah.
So let me tell you a quick story. So I'm sitting in our mastermind group, and on my left is Ken Abraham. I don't know if y'all know who Ken Abraham is or not, but he's written 94 books. He's the most prolific ghostwriter on the planet. He wrote, George Foreman, Viente Fox, he's written 94 books. He wrote Let's Roll, Lisa Beamer's book, and he wrote Payne Stewart. You name it, he's written their book, okay? So he's sitting on my left for 12 years. Dave Ramsey's sitting on my right. So Dave's got, he's a guy that knows a little bit about finances, and he's written a few books. Sold millions of copies. Dan Miller sits across the table from me, written 8 books, and God knows how many books he sold. And then somebody says, Big A, you going to write a book? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Who would read my book? Well, Ken Davis is in my mastermind group. He wrote the book Fully Alive, and he looks at me and he goes, man, dude, you're using the wrong comparison. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're worried about what Ken and Dave and Dan think? He said, let me tell you something. When I wrote Fully Alive, he said 17 people called me the year they read my book, and they said, I was going to commit suicide, and because I read your book, I chose not to. He said, if you change the life of one person, will it not be worth writing the book? I said, you're daggum right. I'm going to write that gentleman right now. And I did. It took me 18 months. And I can't tell you. I cannot even begin to tell you. I sit sometimes at my computer. My wife has to come in and read the email because I'm crying. I can't read the email. I can't read it because they're saying it's changed my life. Man, you're holding people out on things that could change their life because Jay Massey won't write a book because he's got the knowledge. He's got the key to the kingdom, and you won't give it to him. You need to write a book. I'm waiting for an answer. When are you going to start writing the book?
I love this. But we get that from the people write into us now from the podcast and YouTube channels, and they're already saying those things.
All right.
But I am hearing what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying. We'll see.
You may wiggle out of it now, but I'm not done with you. So
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna come back to you, and we're gonna nail you down on writing a book. You got too much wisdom, man.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. But I think for a lot of people who are listening right now, they're hearing what it's like to be a part of a group and why.
That's hilarious. That's what we do right here every single day. It's like, hey, we grab you by the throat and we don't let go because we want you to accomplish your goals and dreams. And the other thing is we get out of people what they can't see in themselves.
And that's because that's the thing is there's a lot of things that I think all of us, to some degree, believe we can do certain things and we'll try those things. But it's the things that we don't see or don't believe or don't yet believe that we could do that other people go like, yeah, that would be totally natural. Like one time there was this crazy it was the craziest thing. And it happened with my oldest daughter. I was picking her up from school and there was a Black Enterprise magazine on the dashboard. And I told her to look, and I was pointing at the magazine. I forgot what I actually wanted her to notice, but she looked at the magazine and she went, oh, and I'm like, what? She's like, oh, I thought you were on the cover. That's why you wanted me to look. And in her mind, it was absolutely natural that I would be on the cover of a magazine. And I'm just like, I definitely was not thinking that, but she was. And those are things that I think your groups can pull out because we would never consider that for ourselves in some cases.
Well, you know why? Because it's the Upper Limit Challenge. And for those that read, and you just told me you're not reading books, The Big Leap is a must-read by Gay Hendricks.
Oh, yes. Now, I'm an audiobook junkie. I just don't read them.
Okay.
I just don't. Listen, that's different.
You guys need to read that because it helps you push through these Upper Limit Challenges where you go, you know what, man? I am going to be on the cover of that magazine. You give me a year, and I'm going to be on that dadgum magazine. And you go out there and you meet the people, build the relationships, put your content out, and you get on the front page of that magazine. listen, you've got to have a mindset of I can do it. If anything was instilled in me as a child, my mom had a saying, can't, couldn't do it, and could did it all. And she said that my whole life. She would not allow us to say can't. She would say, you might not be able to do it, but you're going to try. And by her pushing me, it built self-confidence and self-esteem that I was able to do things. And then also about fear. We're paralyzed by fear. And I've heard all my life, can't, couldn't do it, could, did it all, and fear missing an opportunity more than you fear failure. And, man, you couple those two things together, Jay, you're going to rock. And that's a mindset shift. And that's why I want to change your mindset on writing the book. And I'm going to let you wiggle out of it today on this call because this is your show and not mine. But I'm going to tell you, man, the audience, you get ready because you're going to see Jay Massey's book. Y'all just stand by.
I love this. I love this so much. So, and in fact, I'm sure there's a number of people who are listening right now going, yeah. Or they probably have listened this far and they want to find out more. They're excited. They hear your passion for challenge and growth and pulling it out of people. What's going to be the best way for them to find out more about what you guys are doing and what you're up to?
Yeah, pretty easy to find us online, viewfromthetop.com, all the social media platforms there. My personal cell number's there, my email. I'm easy to get a hold. Google Aaron Walker and my stuff will come up and podcast interviews and stuff. And it's not that I'm that popular. It's just that I've intentionally put myself out there to be found. And I want you guys to contact me. Let's have a conversation, see if we can help you. And listen, even if you don't get involved in my mastermind, get involved in somebody's group. Get an accountability group around you. I meet with the same 3 guys for 12 years now every Friday morning, 6 o'clock. I've done this now for over 25 years. I've gone through 3 groups because I want people around me. I want to know the truth, and I want to meet with guys on a regular basis. It's going to breathe that into me. So, hey, reach out to me, and I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I'm curious to hear your answer. And I know there's a number of people listening who would fit in this category. They've listened this entire time. They've gotten excited. They probably got a little scared. They're like, oh my God, he's challenging Jay right now. But at the same time, we know when we've heard things that will help us move forward. And they may have reached that what I like to call the precipice of decision. They are on that edge. And yet at the same time, what tends to happen is when we get there, we have this voice, and it's a voice that tends to remind us of what we didn't do, how it didn't work last time, how it didn't go well. And for some people, they are related to that voice. So my question to you is that this time it's going to be different for them. Let's pretend it's going to be different. And Aaron, they're going to do exactly what you say, and they're going to do it in the next 24 to 48 hours. So what do they do?
Yeah, well, first of all, you got to quit listening to those voices. That's the upper limit challenge. You know, you lay in bed at night and you go, I'm not smart enough. I don't have the education. I don't have the resources. I don't have the relationships. That's a crock. And I didn't get to share my story with you, but I come from a very poor family. At 18, started my first business. At 27, I retired. I sold out to a Fortune 500. If I can do it and not have a dime when I start, everybody hearing my voice can do it. You got to quit listening to those voices. Don't be around people that are stealing your thunder. Get yourself around people that are encouraging, edifying, lifting you up, and helping you, locking arms, building that culture, having that chemistry of I can do it and help you. Listen, a lot of you need to get rid of some of your friends. I'm just telling you, you're hanging out with the wrong people. You can't fly with the eagles if you're running with the turkeys. You just can't do it. And I want to tell you today, get around people that can help take you to that next level, and don't let anybody ever steal your dream or tell you you can't do something.
I love it 100%. I definitely appreciate not just your passion, but the purpose is stronger than ever, and it comes through so much. And I'm hoping that everyone was able to, I'm sure you stopped a few people while they were on the treadmill and they're like, ooh, I got to write that down, because I know I've taken, again, more notes and just more things for myself as well. And I thank you for taking the time and sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your insight here with us today at the Cashflow Diary, sir.
I enjoyed it. Thanks, Jay. We'll see you, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for you to move at the speed of instruction. What does that mean? That means view from the top. Look up Aaron Walker. his cell phone number. I mean, dude, you have no excuse, so go make it happen. And I know some of you are listening right now. You're like, but Jay, you didn't make a commitment. Here's what I will say. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.